All right, year 7. This is our online learning platform. And hopefully you've gone to Google Classroom, or you would have gone there already, because if you're watching this, you would have already got the link. Anyway, here are the links. I'll be on your Classroom feed. There's our feed, our link to the Year 7 website, and there's a link to the textbook, so you can get everything digitally and be able to complete the work in class. Now, the first thing you need to do for today is you need to go to that website link and you need to watch this Into the Negative Zone Part 1, adding and subtracting numbers. It takes a while, but it does a really good explanation of the concepts that we're going to be dealing with, of what negative numbers are and how to add and subtract negative numbers. And you can see that there's a free fall sheet afterwards with the solutions and of addition and of subtraction. And they're pretty good because you can see there's a number line that'll help you do these subtractions and additions. Today, however, or now, you need to be having a look at exercise 3C. So go away, watch the video, do the questions that are on the video. There are some questions that appear on the video. Do them in your book. And when you finish that, you can come back and start exercise 3C. So hopefully you've gone away and done that, and we're now going to do exercise 3C. So here's exercise 3C from the textbook. And you've already done the explanation. So questions 1, 2, and 3, you don't really need to do. We want you to do questions 4, 5, and 7. Note that we're not going to do 6. So skip question 6. We're going to do 4, 5, and 6, and we want you to do the last 2 columns, because you'll get some of the harder questions. So the first thing we need to know is, let's have a little bit of a recap on what a directed number is, because these are positive and negative numbers. And remember that positive and negative numbers in mathematics just means direction. So what do we have? Directed numbers. Well, usually directed numbers mean up or down. So if you look on a thermometer and you see 0, and you'll see positive numbers up for your temperature, positive 1, positive 2, positive 3, and you'll see negative numbers, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. So up or down. If you use a map and you go north, we usually consider that positive because it's just direction. South, negative. East, positive. West, negative. But in mathematics, what we use is a number line. And a number line is just left and right. And we can place all these numbers on here. Now remember, we are only talking about integers, so we're only talking about whole numbers. So you need to write that somewhere in your book. An integer is a whole number. So we're not going to be dealing with fractions or decimals, just whole numbers. So to the right is our positive numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4. And to our left is the negative numbers, negative 1, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. Now, mathematics is a very good subject because you can go on forever. This number line can be stretched all the way to infinity and all the way to negative infinity. So this number line can be as big or as small as you like. So what you do now is when you're adding these or doing these calculations. So let's have a look at the first one. I'm going to do the first 2 columns because they're small numbers, and then I'm going to do the last 2 columns, and I'm going to use a number line in my head. That's what we do in mathematics. We use things, you can use a concrete example, but what we want you to be able to do is use it in your head. Now, if you watch the video, you would have known or understood that the first number tells you your starting position. And I've actually circled that plus there. The first number is positive 3. Remember, if there's no sign there, there is an actual little plus sign. So that's positive 3, that's positive 8, that's positive 12. So the first number tells where you start. So we are starting at positive 3. Now remember that each sign gives us a direction. We are adding. So if you remember from the video, that means we're facing that way. We're facing to the right. And we're adding negative 2. And negative 2 is a direction to the left, which means we're going backwards 2 spots. So we're going 1, 2. So for the first one, which is 3 plus negative 2. Oh, but Mr. Tonkin, they've got brackets or parentheses. Yes, they only put the parentheses there because for some reason they can't write the negative symbol the way it should be, which is a little bit smaller and a little bit higher. So what did we get? 3 plus negative 2 is 1. That's where we finished. So that's question 4A. Question 4E, because I need a smaller one. We're at 1, so this time I'll get rid of this. We're at 1, that's where we're starting. We're adding, so we're facing that way, and it's negative 4. So we've got to go 4 steps to the left or 4 steps backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 1 plus negative 4, where did I end up? Negative 3. So what you need to do is now have a go at these questions, these 2 columns. But you're going to see that the numbers are too big for you to do on a number line. I don't think you're going to do a number line 103 numbers long. So you're going to need to be able to think about the number line in your head. So go away and have a go at those and then come back to the video when you've done or if you're having problems. So hopefully you've gone away now and we're going to have a go at 4C. So 4C, 12 plus negative 6. 12 plus negative 6. So imagine you're on the number line, you're at 12, you're going to face to the right and you're going to go backwards 6 steps. Well, if I count backwards from 12, that's going to be 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Oh, I'll end up at 6. So you can do the number line in your head. D, 9 plus negative 7. Well, that means I'm at 9, I'm facing to the right, and I'm going backwards 7 steps. Oh, that'll take me all the way back to positive 2. And you'll notice that I don't have to write the positive, I just need to write the 2, because if there's no number there. G. Hopefully you're having a go at these yourself. G. 20 plus negative 2. 20 plus negative 2. 22, I think it is. Well, I'm at 20. I go back negative 22 paces. Well, if I go back 20 paces, I'll be back at 0. So 20 paces takes me, or steps takes me back to 0. Then I've got to go another 2 backwards. That'll take me to negative 2. So hopefully you've been having a go at those. But there is another way to do it. There is a much easier way to do it. And if you watched the video, you would have seen this. So I'm going to go up here to our notes again. And our notes suggest that when you have a plus and a positive sign, you can replace it with just a positive sign. And when you have a minus and a negative sign together, you can replace it with a positive sign. And when you have a negative, and a positive sign, you can replace that with a negative. And when you have a plus and a negative sign, you can replace that with a negative. An easy way to remember it is if the signs are different, like these two here, you get a negative. And if the signs are the same, you get a positive. So let's now have a go at some of those questions from 4 using that. So we did C, D, G. Hopefully you've gone and done them yourself, but I'm now going to do H. And H was 0 plus negative 4. Now, you can just do this. You can just go, oh, those two signs together give me a negative. 0 minus 4. Well, if I've got 0 and I take away 4, I actually get negative 4. And that way you don't have to worry about which way you face and which way you step. Minus just means go to the left, or if you're minusing, you're going to go to the left. And adding just means you're going to go to the right. And you only have to deal with one sign now, because whenever there are two signs together, you can change them using your little code above, which you should write down in your books, in your notes. So let's try the next one. What have we got? Negative 5 plus negative 30. So negative 5 plus negative 30. Negative 5 plus negative 30. Well, I'm going to take those two and make it a minus. Sometimes it helps if you think about these in a practical sense. If it's negative 5 degrees and I go minus another 30, I'm down to negative 35 degrees. Very cold. But again, the number line is a good way to think about it. I'm at negative 5 and I'm minus 30. So back another 30 steps, negative 35. So I'm going to leave you to those ones, because now we're going to go and have a look at question 5, where we've got two negative signs together. So let's have a look at 5C. I want you to go and have a crack at it yourself, because these are really, really easy. Actually, I'll do 5A first using the number line principle, and then I'll do the others using just changing the sign. So 5A, I've got 2 minus negative 3. So imagine if we go back to our number line, and I'll just erase all these blue steps. This time I'm at 2. And minus means I face to the left. And negative 3 means I go backwards 3. 1, 2, 3. I'd end up at 5. So my 2 minus negative 3 means I end up at 5. But it's much, much easier if you think about it. 2 minus negative 3 equals, now watch this, if I look at those two signs, they're the same. I can replace them with a plus. And 2 plus 3, well, we should know how to do that. That's just 5. So these are going to be incredibly easy. Let's have a look at C. You go ahead and have a go, and if you're having trouble, come back and watch. 20 minus negative 30. These are the ones I want you to do. 20 minus negative 30. You have a crack at it yourself. Pause the video and see if you can do it yourself. You're going to change that sign. Negative and a minus sign become positive. And now it's just 20 plus 30. 50. I'm not even checking these. I hope they're right. I know that's right. I don't need to check. 29 minus, so the next one, D. Go and have a go at it yourself. D. 29 minus negative 61. Okay. There are the two signs. I'm going to change them to a positive, because a negative and a minus sign become a positive. 29 plus 61. Well, that's going to be 90. Because a 9 plus a 1 gives me 10, and 2 plus 6 is 8, plus the extra 10 is 90. All right, you have a go at the others, and I'll do the last two, O and P. So you come back, go and have a go, mark them from the back of the book, and I'm going to do O and P You have a go at those two as well and see if you've got them right. So, negative 31 minus negative 19. Okay, so I'm going to change that minus negative to a positive sign. Now this is a bit hard. Negative 31 plus 19. It's negative 31 degrees and it goes up 19 degrees. Well, it's still negative. It hasn't gone up enough. Negative 12. So imagine you're at negative 31. You go 19 spaces to the right on your number line and you'll end up at negative 12. That's a little bit hard. Hopefully you're able to deal with that. Let's do K. I will do K because it's a nice easy one. Negative 20 minus negative 20. Well, that means this negative and a minus sign changes to a plus. Negative 20 plus 20. I'm at negative 20 and I go 20 spaces to the right. And that'll bring me right back to the center. 0. And if you think about it, it's minus 20 degrees. It goes up 20 degrees. It's now 0 degrees. So the last one, you go and have a go at it. This is P because it's quite hard. Negative 104 minus negative 28. I think that's it. Let me see. Yep. Okay. Oops. Started writing the answer there and it's not right. So remember, two signs together, change them, and the negative and a minus sign becomes a positive sign. So negative 104 plus 28, that's going to be quite hard. So if I just take the 20 off, if I go back 20 spaces, that'll get me to 84. I take off another 4, that'll get me to 80. I take off another 4, that'll take me to negative 76. I hope you've got some mental strategies that help you. All right, so I just took off each part. I took off 20, took me to 84. I took off 4, and took me to 80. I took off another 4, and took me to 76. If you can do that, that's pretty good. Now, the last question you need to do are ones that are more than 2 steps. So let's have a look at 7B, and these are triples. So I'm just going to erase these so I can erase what we've done. Make sure you're setting your work out neatly, make sure you're showing all your working, and make sure you're keeping in contact with your classroom teacher so that they know that you're doing the work. And even more importantly, send emails and do the hot maths work. All right, so I'll do a couple of these. So this is 7 and here's B, and they're triples. So we've got 2 plus negative 1. And you don't need the parentheses. Plus negative 6 equals. Now I think it's a good thing to rewrite the equation changing all the double signs. So a positive and a negative is a minus, and a positive and a negative is a minus. So our new algorithm is 2 minus 1 minus 6. Well, 2 minus 1, do that first and you get 1. 1 minus 6, it's 1 degrees, it goes down 6 degrees, negative 5. I'm just going to check that one. So what was that? 7B, and the answer is negative 5. Beautiful. Let's go 7C. 3 minus negative 1 minus negative 4. And you're going to think, oh, it looks so hard. Wait till you change the numbers or change the signs. 2 negatives make a positive. Now watch this. This is so easy. 3 plus 1 plus 4. Well, 3 plus 1 is 4, and 4 plus 4 is 8. Woohoo! All right. You do the other ones, and I'm now going to do K and L. I want you to have a go at K and L and see how you go. So here's 7K. You go away and do them, pause the video and come back. So K, negative 18 minus negative 16 minus negative 19. And again, when you see this is easy. Let's change that to a plus. Change that to a plus. Remember, in your books, you've got that little reminder in your notes about what becomes what. And now I'm going to rewrite this. I've got negative 18 plus 16 plus 19. And this looks hard, but it's not. Negative 18, I go back 16 spots. That's almost all the way to 0. It's only 2 short, so I've got negative 2. Now, I've got to go 19 more spots to the right. Well, if I go 2 spots, I'll end up at 0. And then I've only got 17 to go, so I'll end up at positive 17. If you wanted to be really nice, you'd write a little positive sign there, but you don't need it. If you can do that, that's as good as you need to be. But have a go at L. I'm going to write it up now. You go away, have a go at it, and see if you can get it. So hopefully you've come back now and you're just going to see if you're right. So 7L is 5 plus negative 20. Remember, we don't need the parentheses. Minus negative 26. Minus negative 26 equals. Well, the first thing we do, wherever there are 2 signs, we change them. So a positive and a negative, a plus and a negative sign, change to a negative, and a negative and a negative sign, change to a plus. Okay, let's have a look. We've now got 5 minus 20 plus 26. Now, I know you probably want to do this. First going 5 minus 20, but there's an easier way. If I'm going to minus 20 and add 26, I'm going to take away 20, I'm going to add 26. Well, that's just in total adding 6. I'm just going, well, I'm going to take away $20 and give you 26. Well, why don't you just give me 6? And 5 plus 6 is 11. Of course, you could have done it the other way. 5 minus 20, and I'll do it here. 5 minus 20 plus 26. But remember, we're looking for strategies to make it easier. 5 minus 20, well, I'm at 5. I go back to the left negative 20 spots. Takes me to negative 15. And I'm going to add 26 spots. Okay, so I go 15 spots. And then I go another 11. So I'm back at 11. I actually prefer, if I'm going to take away 20 and add 26, I'm just adding 6. Anyway, hopefully you've been able to do those. Go and have a break now, and then come back sometime later. Don't try and do it all in one go, and we'll do multiplication and division. Remember, you must email your teachers, tell them what work you're doing, or make sure you're logging onto Hot Maths and show that you're getting each level. You need to get up to at least level 3.